joining us for our Tuesday's edition of First View right here on Luntha TV. Today being the 24th of January in the year 2023. I think we're getting closer to the end of this month, finally. Personally, I've found it too long, but yeah, thank God it's ending. Anyways, so as usual, in today's First View, we'll be taking you through some of the stories. And today you'll be with me, Tandy Wemzumara, and I'll be taking you through the Daily Times, and my colleague
Bridget Mwanoka, and I'll take you through some of the stories appearing in the national newspaper.
How are you, by the way?
I'm just excited, as you have mentioned, that we're ending this slowly. I think this is the slowest January we have ever encountered.
I think January is always slow. Really, it's always slow, and it really doesn't help with the weather as well.
And being my breath now.
Okay, you know what? Let's not.
Okay, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, cholera deaths hit record high, and there is a subtitle: "Outbreak claims 990 lives, highest since 2002." Malawi yesterday registered 30 cholera deaths, which increased the outbreak's death toll to 990, the highest recorded in history after exceeding the 968 reported in 2002.
That is scary.
It really is. I don't know how best to go about it, but hey, I think something should be done, and it should start with us.
I remember yesterday I went to Waira Hospital on some work-related mission.
Work-related, not that you are getting the vaccine, but work-related.
Okay, I don't know where the connection with the vaccine is, but then my point is, I went to the hospital, and as it all happens, it was a cholera-related mission, and we got to be at some of the parts of the camps, of the cholera camps. The situation is bad, and people out there really need to take care, really need to observe hygiene.
And take it seriously.
Yes, because it's not a joke. It's like as serious as it sounds. And I read somewhere yesterday to say, I don't quite remember where it happened, but then whereby people went to release all cholera patients in a certain hospital. I saw that on Zodiac. I've just forgotten where it happened. But then people were claiming that the hospital officials are making up stories about people getting sick of cholera and that they believe it's not real. So they went to beat up. Yes. So they went to actually beat up the health officials and release all the patients at the hospital that were admitted because of cholera. But then at the end of the day, people really need to know that cholera is real, and the fact that since March last year to date, about 990 people have died. That should tell you how serious this outbreak is.
Yeah, it really is serious. And people, please, we are pleading with you, please take it seriously.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so a headline here, this one's on third page, reads, U.S. pledges to help Malawi address the economic crisis. And part of the story reads that the United States government yesterday reiterated its commitment to help Malawi weather the shocks of the current economic crisis. U.S. Ambassador to Malawi David Young said this in Lilongwe during the launch of the Malawi Social Protection Multi-Donor Trust Fund. I must say, it seems donors are doing their best as well as they can. I think it's just a call to us about the implementation of these funds that actually come in, that they should actually work, they should actually do the work that they are, their purpose. Yeah, I'll put it that way. They should actually be put to use per purpose.
Okay. I'll also take you through a story, I think a debatable story, which is appearing on the third page of the Nation newspaper. Kayuni, still civil servant, Kazako. And partly, President Lazarus Chakwera did not fire former Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Stephen Kayuni, from the civil service, but only removed him from the post of DPP. Minister of Information and Digitization, Gospel Kazako, has clarified.
Okay, so what is he now?
Okay.
That's a question. What is he now?
What is he?
Oh, he's still a civil servant, but what is he working as?
He's no longer
Has he been demoted to transferred to another position, or what?
But it just states that it is not clear, but he's
still a civil servant. So he's still on government payroll. Okay. Just great. All right, on the fourth page, still on local news, the headline here reads Government moves on death penalty abolishment. And part of the story reads the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs says it has drafted a bill which would go under stakeholder scrutiny before it can be taken to cabinet. This is to do with the death penalty abolishment. There's been I would say concerns raised to say, can you please take off? It shouldn't be as a punishment. People shouldn't be put to death as a punishment, no matter how serious the crime that they've committed is. I know as a country, Malawi, I think we've never really, have we ever really put someone to death before, the death row? I don't know. I know mostly
so.
about life imprisonment,
Yeah,
but then putting people to death, it has never really. I can't recall.
So you're against it or you're for it?
I'm against it.
Against it.
I mean,
I'm
at the end of the day,
I'm for it.
Oh, so you believe people should be put to death?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, my point is, I'm trying to quote the Bible. I just don't remember the verse or the chapter, but then there's a part in the Bible where Jesus, there were people who were trying to stone to death a woman who was a prostitute in the Bible, and then Jesus Christ said, if any one of you has never sinned before, you take the first stone and cast it.
But
you should know that in God's eyes, no sin is bigger than the other. All sins are the same.
Okay,
I
we're
get
not
it.
in church. Let's proceed.
I'm just putting it out there, but I'm not trying to back them up. Yes, they deserve punishment, but death is not it.
They do.
Yes.
Okay, we're moving on to business. Malawi School of Government urges Treasury to reform AIP. But for me, Malawi School of Government sounds weird. At least Malawi Institute of Management.
Okay.
Let me proceed.
Yes, please.
The Malawi School of Government, a major of Malawi Institute of Management and Staff Development Institute, has asked Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, that's Sostene Gwengwe, to reconsider channeling money invested in Affordable Inputs Program, AIP, to irrigation farming, maker farms, and agriculture mechanization.
Okay.
Sure.
On business, I'll take one. The headline here is Resource Constraints Hinder Innovators. And part of the story reads that lack of resources continues hindering young people with brilliant innovations from attaining their aspirations in the country, Save the Children Director of Operations, Frank Mafurirwa, has said. He said, if given a chance and support, young people can help in finding solutions to most of the problems the country is facing, which is true. I believe that young people, they see things differently.
They really do.
You know, so if given a chance
an
opportunity to actually say, come up front and bring a solution to some of these problems that we're facing, because we could think of issues of energy, electricity, electricity generation in the country. There could be some people out there who are geniuses enough to actually think, to say, okay, as a country, why do we really have to always depend on let's say, for example, if Kabichina hydropower plant, if, let's say, floods affect the operations of that means we're going to have electricity issues.
But I think we have been singing that song for a long time. We are going to empower our youth, we're going to do this, we are going to
and one way of empowering them is to actually make available resources.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll take one more. Food price rise said to bite hard, and there is a subtitle as World Bank sees increased prices this year. Malawians in the low income bracket should bless up for increased food prices this year, as the World Bank says this will have a knock-on effect on them, making it hard to survive. That's sad, because things are really hard as it is right now. So, hearing about this, I think it's nothing pleasant.
No. So, you have any more before we move on to international news?
No, we can move on to international.
All right, here I'll take one. A headline reads, a fury after a Eswatini activist is gunned down at home. And part of the story reads that many human rights campaigners, including opposition groups in Eswatini, have expressed outrage on social media platforms following the brutal murder of a prominent pro-democracy activist in the country. Tulani Maseko founded a coalition of parties and had been calling for reforms. I don't know if to put it to say, as a country, we might be a bit lucky when it comes to freedom of expression.
Yeah.
When it comes to human rights activists, they're able to actually call for reforms. They're actually able to come on the stand and challenge government to do things. But in other countries, it doesn't go so well, because when it comes to this one, he got killed in his own place, at his home. He got shot through a window. So you are in your home, and then
with your family,
and then someone just shoots you through the window. And there's been so much controversy surrounding it, because people definitely believe to say perhaps maybe the ruler, who is King Mswati III, people feel like he has something to do with it, because maybe he was more like opposing whatever it is that government was doing. Yeah.
Okay, another one is ESCOM says load shedding and account low. I think Malawi is not the only country facing load shedding. South Africa's energy utility company ESCOM says that it has resolved the power cuts that crippled the country, but has urged the public to reduce consumption to ease pressure on the national grid. Yeah.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, I think we can move on to arts and culture.
Yes, arts and culture. I'll also take one headline here. Reads Miss Culture Malawi 2023 set for July. The subheadline reads Mrs. Culture on the cards. Part of the story reads that Miss Culture Malawi Beauty Pageantry edition for 2023 will take place on July 29th in Lilongwe, organizers have said.
Okay, another one. Musicians plead with Kosoma MBC to end feud. And Musicians Union of Malawi MAM has pleaded with the Copyright Society of Malawi Kosoma and Malawi Broadcasting Corporation MBC to quickly find a way forward on their misunderstanding on loyalties. The two sides last week announced that after over 5 meetings, they failed to reach a compromise on loyalty payment calculations, prompting MBC to terminate an agreement the two sides had for the past 30 years. I think this is sad for the industry anyways. So the agreement has been there for 30 years, not 30 minutes, okay. 30 years, and now from nowhere MBC has decided to terminate the contract. I think
perhaps they're having some misunderstandings.
Yeah, they are. Sure.
All right, now moving on to the back page. That's with the local sports. A headline here reads Rough Punches. The sub-headline reads 3 local boxers turned into punching bags in Zambia. And part of the story reads that barely 2 weeks after the Malawi Professional Boxing Control Board introduced stern rules preventing unfit boxers from securing international clearance, the inevitable happened when 3 local boxers embarrassingly suffered defeats in Zambia on Saturday. And one of them was female boxer Agnes Lewis, who was turned into a laughingstock and a punching bag after losing to Violet Pili within 23 seconds of the first round. Within 23 seconds, she was out.
Wow.
She was down and out.
Okay, now loses out on Premier Bet Academy offer. And the offer from Premier Bet Malawi to construct a netball academy was initially made to NAM, but the deal fell through after the association failed to secure land for the project it has emerged. I think I'm interested to know more. The nation has established that Netball Association of Malawi, NAM, was given 3 days to secure land for the project, which it failed to do, leading to the betting company partnering Luntha City Council for easy land accessibility. I think they unveiled the place on Friday last week. Yeah, we did that story. So their Premier Bet going to pump in about 80 million kwacha for the academy, a netball court and all that, as a way of promoting netball in the country, since they say they're impressed with how the queens
they're performing.
Yeah,
they really are performing. I have to say big ups to them, because I feel like I've always said that netball is not really given much attention as compared to football in the country.
Yeah, they tried making the first lady their matron,
something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was just a way of like getting attention from the top.
Okay, moving on to international sports. The headline here is stunning Benzema volley helps Real win at Bilbao. And part of the story reads that goals from Karim Benzema and Toni Kroos helped Real Madrid win at Athletic Bilbao to move back to within 3 points of league leaders Barcelona. Ballon d'Or holder Benzema extended his run to 6 goals in 5 league matches with a sublime contorted volley.
I have one here which is interesting that will annoy most of the people I know. Arsenal manager Hails Nketiah. Did I pronounce it right? Is it Nketiah?
I don't care.
Alright, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said it was a beautiful moment when Eddie Nketiah grabbed a dramatic late winner against Manchester United. The game looked like it was heading for a 2-2 draw after Lisandro Martinez, who is a defender, equalized for Eric Ten Hag's side. Sure.
All right. Well,
it was an interesting Sunday for most of us.
Okay, that story also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of Press Review for today, Tuesday, the 24th of January in the year 2023. Now, as you know, that we only do manage to take you through some of the stories that are appearing in our newspapers. So if you do want to know more details, do make sure to get yourself the papers, with each going at the price of 1,000 kwacha. And just a plea to everyone out there to continue to observe cholera preventive measures, because cholera is real.
Okay, so thank you so much for being there and watching the program, and a special thanks should go to Rodrick Kwani for producing today's program. This has been Bridget Manonga and my colleague here,
Tandiwe Zumara.
Continue watching Luntha Television. We have interesting programs lined up for you. Good morning.